Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom, and welcome to another exciting episode of Frail Conversations. And as you see from the title today, we talking about ego. We're gonna talk about ego. Um, I don't think I've ever discussed the episode on ego um that I know of. I may have made allusions to it, but um I feel like this episode is something that needs to be talked about because I'm looking at I'm low-key looking at the fall of the conscious community, and it's like, yo, we was wolves, bro. What the fuck happened? Pandemic shit, real life shit, like Aquarian age shit, whatever you want to call it. A lot of shit couldn't be held up anymore, and like the veil and shit. So it is. It's like, what can you do? But um, it prompted me to look at ego from a different perspective, a fool's perspective, because everybody I witness and have a privilege of speaking with about the ego and shit, it's always the same conversation, like, kill the ego, make the ego die or some shit or whatever. I'm being extreme, I know, but it's always on some kill the ego type shit, right? And it makes me wonder, like, why? And so me being who the fuck I am, and like the way that I explore shit is like I try to make it in a way that I try to see all sides of things. If you understand, if you read So Frail 3, I broke down how to, basically how to unlock the mind correctly with antithesis or antitheses, which is the opposite of information. So you always have to find an opposing side to something, and your truth is gonna reside within that. So the thing about the ego is it's not good or it's not bad, but it's a thing that can be enhanced depending on how it's fed. You feel what I'm saying? So when we hear people say kill the ego, you got to kill it. No, you don't have to kill it. You have to kind of master your ego, which is a point of mastering yourself, and then in self mastery, it kind of, it aligns, right? Like ego is not a bad thing. It's also not a good thing. It's just a thing that, you own, you possess. It's your ego. And one of the hardest parts about it is that the hardest part about uncovering the ego is that the deeper you go, the more you find out that the ego is who you really are. Like unbound, unrestrained in the comfort of your home and the comfort of yourself, that's your ego, who you're always around all the time. And it's like when we're talking about ego and we're not breaking that down on that level where we're saying, hey, yo, can't let your ego get involved. You let your pride or your ego get involved, whatever. We always put those two things together and we say shit like that. But the ego is who you really are. Like the rest of the shit is the front. It's the mask that you got to put on. So it's like we spend more time decorating the mask than we actually do catering to the ego to make it healthy. So when the ego has to poke itself out, it only pokes out when emotions rise in a real heavy, and it's a lot of volatility and shit because the ego isn't too tapped in. And this goes into a so frail conversation because I'm like, everybody's decorating their mask and nobody's addressing their ego, and their ego is being fed. Ooh, the ego is being malnourished. It's not being fed correctly. It's being malnourished. So a malnourished ego, like a malnourished person, is going to exhibit certain signs of deficiencies. You feel what I'm saying? And as men, when it comes to our egos are easily fed. But at the same time, it's the unhealthy ego that's easily fed based off of the mask that we have to put on and we have to decorate ourselves with in order to, maneuver through this world, quote unquote, confidently, which is ironic because, they teach us to walk with confidence or to be confident with our mask, not to be confident with our true self, which is our ego, which is crazy because then when that little boy pokes his head out, which is the real ego, your inner child and shit, we're going to dive into it. But when that part pokes his head out, now you're like, what do I do? So we spend all this time building confidence for a pseudo expression of ourselves, for a mask of ourselves, and we never really tap in. So when who we really are has to show up, we don't have the confidence in it. And that makes it so much more difficult to really become who you're supposed to be. Because while you spend all this time being confident in a mask and running away from the ego is who you are always supposed to express healthily while not having to put a mask on. But before we dive heavy into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at underscore just underscore seen underscore. Be sure to check out my website at imjustseen.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And don't forget, you can always sponsor the podcast by clicking that link as well. And as always, that's that for this, and that's this for that. So when we come back, we're going to dive into So Frail Conversations Make the Ego Healthy. And don't forget to visit imjustseen.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So Frail series to your library? Visit imjustseen.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit imjustseen.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit imjustseen.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit imjustseen.com. You ever want to just chat with Seen about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit imjustseen.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at imjustseen.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit imjustseen.com. All right. Welcome back. And without further ado, we're just going, as always, just dive straight into this motherfucker, bro. Like, ain't nothing else to do it but to do it, or whatever. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. I said that shit all fucked up. But as I've learned over the years, that my bad, I just got an alert that the war is starting to make the US dollar stronger and shit. Like, it just sent it to new highs. This shit is a joke. This shit is funny. But no. Let me get serious because let me put my phone down and get focused. All right, so so it ties into this too, because somehow it's gonna tie into this watch, because the ego and all this other shit. So America is built on unhealthy ego. But anyway, so as men, our egos are derived and established off of 3 points, right? And first, let me say this, right? Because ego is such a taboo thing. Motherfuckers hate ego. They be like, oh my gosh, you cheering your ego off, right? For men, when it comes to men, they don't want us to have egos, right? But yeah, they were like, yo, women will say shit like, yo, I'm not gonna stroke your ego, but they want us to boost their self-esteem. Let me let y'all in on a little secret. Euphemisms aside, ego and self-esteem are the same shit. You feel me? It's the same shit. So imagine when you're on one hand catered to, destroying your ego while at the same time trying to build your self-esteem. This is where the problem comes in, because the self-esteem that we build is a pseudo illusion. It's like it's we build our self-esteem off the mask that we have. One thing that you always hear me talk about, when I ain't gonna say you always hear me talk about it, because I be thinking, I don't know if I've ever said it, so you ain't in my head. But anyway, one thing that I be saying is that um ego ego can be your best friend, or it can be your worst enemy if you don't know what you're doing with life. And I say that on the strength that society teaches us to build ourselves from the outside in. We never establish who we are from the core out. And that's on a grander scale, right? Like, if we look at us as men, like, we have to figure out, from boys, we start to build ourselves from the outside in. Like, I want to dress like this, I want to wear this, I want this hairstyle, I want this, that, and third. We do the same shit women do. Like, it ain't no different. Like, it just seems like it's only tied to women simply because women are in a space where, beauty is what they gravitate towards. You feel me? And it's like, nah, there's aesthetic appeal, there's ego shit that we got to deal with too, that don't nobody really pay attention to, because for us, it's not always cosmetic, but it is still physical. You feel what I'm saying? So we teach ourselves, we are taught to build ourselves from the outside in. You feel what I'm saying? Make sure you walk with confidence, and you got to, there's a difference between confidence and conviction, right? But confidence is an illusion when you don't know who you are, when you're not being your true self? How can you be confident? It's like you're confident in mm, this ties into the episode I was talking about being versus behavior. You're confident how you behave, not in how you be. I know grammatically that don't probably make sense or it's not correct, but it definitely makes sense essentially. Like our ego is crafted on how confident we become and how we behave. You feel me? I know that I can get these women. I use myself as an example. I frequently speak about my whole phases and shit like that because I'm out of them. But for the most part, I speak on them too because that was a time in my life, a pocket in my life where I had built myself from the outside in. And the thing about it, there was no end. You feel me? I want to explain that. Like there was no end. Like ideally, your mind, body, and soul should be the same strength, power wise. But it's like it's hard to tap into the mind and the soul when the body has the physical aspect has one position. So I built myself from the inside out. I mean, from the outside in the sense that I followed a certain aesthetic. I created a certain thing for myself. Then it was like, yo, this is what makes me quote unquote the motherfucking man. The way that I dressed, the stuff that I wore, having waves and all of this other shit. I had to keep a certain thing up. And my confidence came in my behavior. It wasn't in my being. It was in my behavior. And I realized how much confidence in my being was when I started to look at certain shit like, reading out loud and, the parts of myself who I actually was, like, the person who's good in class or school, smart and all the intelligent shit, like that was a part of my being, but I didn't show that. I didn't really show that. Like that wasn't like that's not the part I chose to have confidence in. But I had confidence in it. Nobody like I didn't put it on the forefront. You feel what I'm saying? Because that wasn't the appeal. That wasn't the appeal. And as men, I say this shit all the time. We're going to chase the standard of we're going to chase the template and try to become the template of what women want. Women want a high value man, we're gonna act like a high value man. We all of this shit is how well we behave, but we don't get to be because there's no being because we don't understand ego. Ego is powerful because it builds us from the ego realistically builds us from the inside out. But we're so busy looking at ego as a negative thing, we cannot see any of the positive things that ego gives us. You feel what I'm saying? There's a spoken word artist named Daniel Beatty, right? And he has this poem called "The Nigga Versus the Nerd." I recommend every black man listen to that shit. Um, on some real shit, like it's some dope gangster shit in it. But the conceptualization of it or what he's presenting is the nigga versus the nerd in the sense of the true ego. Well, no, no, no. Ooh, I'm gonna say it like this. Not the true ego. It's building yourself from the outside in versus building yourself from the inside out. So he was talking about basically it's like a point of duality, right? But the nerd is the person who's like, "Yo, I went to Ivy League school. I did all of these things to not go through certain shit anymore, to not deal with the shit that, whatever." And I get it. That's, a lot of us do that shit, but this is how it's easy to forget where the fuck you come from because your ego, your confidence is based off how you behave according to the systems that you assimilated into. This is why I'm so big, so big on, and this is why this is ultimately this hope for a conversation because we got to hold niggas accountable. You feel me? This is why I'm so big on how the civil rights movement was fucked up when integration happened. There was men who chose integration over, remaining separate. You feel me? And in choosing integration, we assimilate into a culture that created the behaviors that we find confidence in. You dig what I'm saying? Like they created behaviors that we find confidence in, and we exhibit those behaviors as if we're supposed to, and we're not. We're not. We're totally different. We're totally different beings. And because we spend so much time building our confidence and developing our self-esteem and shit that is fleeting and shit that means nothing, we don't build ourselves from the core. So we don't have a core. You feel what I'm saying? But this is also why it's imperative that you have systems that you can follow. Exhibit these behaviors because you don't have the wherewithal to tap in to create behaviors that are fruitful for the world. So it's like follow this system, go this route, go this route. And the whole time your ego is remaining stagnant. Not only is it remaining stagnant, it's developing from a deficit because it's not becoming healthy. It's being deprived, it's being malnourished. You feel what I'm saying? So when we look at, like I said, tying it back into how women have self-esteem, we are not allowed to stroke our ego because, it's like, yo, don't stroke that man's ego. No, no. I'm gonna say it well, brothers, we need our ego stroked. However, we need our healthy ego stroked because our healthy ego is who we really are to the core. Like, I talk shit. I'm sarcastic. I can be blunt, rude, or whatever. However, people come off at that shit. Like, but low key, I'm a very compassionate person, but and high key, like I really care about shit. But sometimes this is just how I have to do shit. But this is a part of me and my healthy ego. Like I had to realize there's a point where I can't. There's no separation between the two, and this ties back into this to the Daniel Beatty poem about nigga versus the nerd. He got a part in there where the nigga is talking to the nerd, and he's like, he said when them Ivy League he said when that Ivy League bullshit was beating you at, he said when that Ivy League bullshit was beating your ass, it was these big ass nigga arms that was getting you through that shit. And it's like your ego don't go nowhere. You feel me? Your ego don't go nowhere and to the core of who you really are. And it's like your environment, the things that you experience, how you respond to experience, all of those things shape your ego. All of those things shape your ego, which in turn shapes your core because it shapes your spirit. Ego and spirit, ego and soul, they not different from each other. You feel me? In the grand scheme of things, a lot of this shit is really just semantics, man. Like motherfuckers find one good thing to say and say, okay, I'm gonna stick with this euphemism and shit. But at the core of it, it's all the same shit. You got to build yourself from the inside out. Like when I was looking at the story of, first off, studying Kemet was life changing for me because it wasn't like, okay, I try to remember Egypt and shit and go back and say, we was kings and all this shit. Like I really went into some studies on some shit and I went into a whole different bag. Like, you feel me? It wasn't just history for me. I went to the spiritual systems. I went to a lot of the deeper shit. And one thing they never say, they never, one, that was country as shit. One thing they never say is kill the ego. And I've always watched it. Two things. Well, I'm gonna say two things they never say. They never separate the being from the deity that they serve, and it never was a point of killing your ego. And the biggest mind opener that got me was when I was looking at the story of Heru and Asar set is set Asar Aset Heru, right? And in those stories, it's like they were all symbolic and all metaphorical, of course, but the main theme of the story was that Set killed Asar, which was his brother. Asar got scattered around the world or whatever the case may be. So Set ultimately Haru had to fight Set, but he didn't kill Set. Like in any of the iconographies, he never killed Set. In fact, he started working with Set. So then when you go to and the Set is dope because Set is the ego. Set is the ego, and the ego, uncontrolled, is volatile to your soul. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Set represents the ego, Asar represented the soul, and Aset, she represented wisdom. This is why when Set killed Asar and scattered his body around the world, it's like Aset had to bring it back together. So it's going to take. So when ego kills your soul, it takes wisdom to bring your soul back together. It was written. Like they this so I be telling motherfuckers religion has three levels: mythology, ritual, and allegory. When y'all motherfuckers get to the allegorical level of shit, that's when you start mastering shit a lot faster in life. But anywho, Set was the ego that killed the soul, which was Asar. And wisdom, or Set, had to bring the soul back together. Right? Which is makes sense. Like when your ego starts putting you through bullshit, you gotta experience some shit to gain the wisdom to get yourself out of bullshit. But like I said, it never was a point of killing Set, And the reason why I said Set was interesting also because like even in today, like we don't even know how subconscious some of the shit it will tell a motherfucker, yo, you set in your ways. You're stuck in your ego, and it's unhealthy. You're set in your ways. You feel what I'm saying? It's dope. But anywho, with the way the that story played out, Heru ultimately is like he has to fight, quote unquote, Set, but he never kills him. There's an iconography where him and Set begin working together. And Set, I mean, Haru is the person, is the individual, it's you. You know what I mean? And that's where the commonality comes in. Because like Haru is also Ra, Ra is also Haru. But when you understand it from the Tree of Life perspective, if you read Sophrel 3 and you finished it and you got to the Tree of Life, there's a part where I talk about Kether and Malkuth. Right? Kether is the start of the Tree of Life, Malkuth is the end of the Tree of Life. In any iconography, whether it be religion or whatever the case may be, there's a head and there's a bottom at that point. So for the Kemetic iconography, Kether would represent Ra, and Malkuth would represent Heru, right? And if you read through the Tree of Life, it's like basically going from Kether down to Malkuth, but the paths bring you all back together to where there is no difference between Kether and Malkuth, and there is no difference between Malkuth and Makar except experience and time. You feel me? Same situation with God and Jesus. Same situation with Allah and Muhammad. Same situation with Krishna and Hinduism. It's, you feel me? Like the story is the same way. It's, you're at your base level. You have to get back up to the God level and bring them together. All of the stories say the same shit. They say the same shit, but again, they don't teach people the right way and shit, because then you wouldn't need the motherfucker anymore. But again, bringing it back, we're talking about ego. So with Heru working against, he ended up working with Set, and it's like they have a iconography where they're like holding and binding the reed leaves and the papyrus plants together, but they're working together. Same shit. Your ego has to be recharged and retooled to work for you. Ego's not bad. It's not good either. It's a thing. It's just how you choose to feed it. We are taught, though, to feed and deprive our egos. You feel me? And when I say deprive them, we follow spiritual systems or whatever the case may be that necessarily don't align with our spirit. And we know it doesn't align our spirit with, so we force it to. You feel what I'm saying? And we start forcing realities onto yourself for the sake of behaving a certain way with the point of confidence. It becomes different. It becomes different on the psyche and the self, because imagine being confident in something, expressing yourself in confidence, confidently expressing yourself in something that you're not. You're not that. You feel me? But you're confident in it. You feel me? Like you ever seen a motherfucker articulate some shit? You ever seen somebody articulate bullshit? It's like, wow, you said a whole lot of nothing flawlessly. You beautifully said a whole lot of nothing. And that's because um it's a matter of having the confidence to behave a certain way. You feel me? To sound and look and feel rather than being that way. You feel what I'm saying? I started to pay attention to this in undergrad. Like they called me out on my shit too. I never forget it. It was during our final presentation for forensics. I articulated some bullshit so motherfucking well that only the teachers knew I was wrong. Everybody else that was in there sitting on the panel that we had to like, because it was four professors. Well, it was like no, it was no, three professors that actually taught us. Everybody else was just like somebody that was coming in just to watch, to give us the mock look like we were presenting a crime case or whatever the case may be, right? I completely mixed some shit up. Matter of fact, it was on introns and exons, right? So I swapped the names on exons and introns, but I said the shit so fluidly and so powerfully, like it was a whole. And I didn't know what I know about it now. I know I did, and like when I sat down and shit, like the people that didn't know, they was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so." But my homie pulled me aside, and said, "You know, you fucked that up, right?" I said, I know. Don't say shit. She said, yo, you fucked it up well, though. She's like, nobody knew. She said, these people don't know. She said, the teachers, you could tell they know, because they started smiling when I was fucking up, right? But again, I had confidence in my behavior. My confidence in my behavior to present and articulate a message. My confidence in behavior of knowing that what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? If I say it enough, at a certain way, then but that's how we're built. That's how the system built us. That's how the assimilation built us. Like black men, we had when we came into this space, it's like, okay, now you have to be you know, your confidence in bullshit. We have to be very confident in bullshit, and it's not confident in our true essence, right? Now, when I mastered that shit and I started seeing the ego, I was like, yo, it's really not bad. My ego is really who I am to the core, to the deepest aspect of it. So now when I present information and shit, now when I do it, it's like I do it straight from the healthy ego aspect that I've actually learned and experienced the shit. You feel what I'm saying? And I've learned to tame the beast that was whatever on the inside. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us as men, we're not gonna get to that point because we don't even like we for one, we think that we have to kill the ego. And for two, our expression of our self-esteem and our ego is all fake. It's all fake. A lot of us ain't really who we think we want to be and shit. And then like we running through like midlife crises and we're running through moments of, yo, this ain't me. But I still gotta keep the mask up and keep being like, you know how much shit is involved? Like, you know how much shit we are lost in because we won't accept our egos and we are living a life that is based off of a falsified perception of confidence based off of how well we behave a certain way. And then we reach a point where we can't behave anymore. Like they call it comfortable. They call it, oh, now you got comfortable in a relationship, in a circumstance and situation, you get comfortable. Yeah, and when you get comfortable, your ego shows, your real ego. And if you've never nourished or fed your ego, what the fuck you think's gonna happen? You feel what I'm saying? Your ego is designed for that. Your ego is designed to be the point of what gets you through. It's the full gamut and the full dynamic of yourself. It's not a side. That's why I hate when people be like, yo, you gonna make me bring this side out of myself. The fuck? Bring the bitch out. I ain't scared of that shit. But anyway, it's like, why is that not on Front Street? You feel me? If the side that can eliminate bullshit is not in front of, is not always present, then you feel me? It ties into the protection and provision thing. And this is something that a lot of us miss when women be saying the shit because it's like, we say stupid shit. And I had a conversation with somebody where they was like, why don't men protect and provide? I said, because they're scared to get beat the fuck up. That's not an excuse. I didn't say it was an excuse. You asked the fucking question, smart guy, smart gal, whatever. You feel me? Non-binaries and shit. But I was like, you asked a simple question. And I gave the answer. I didn't say it was right. I didn't say that's reality. I said, but this is what it is. They scared to get beat the fuck up. Why would I protect the motherfucker? I don't know if I'm scared to get beat up. But that is the part where now I'm gonna make it fit here, where it ties into the confidence we have in behaving. We look tough. We can look like that, but we can't be any of that shit, right? Because that comes with your ego. That comes with building and developing your ego. So I'm using this example because a lot of black women say we just want to feel protected around men. And men think, and how we are perceiving it now, it's like, oh, I got to slap a motherfucker. No, you have to be in such a space where motherfuckers don't even think to try some shit around you because that is a part of the ego part. That's not about behaving. You feel me? I don't have like, you ever heard the phrase the quietest one? It'd be the quiet motherfuckers that fuck you up. You feel me? Their ego makes them not talk about what the fuck they'll do to you. You feel me? They developed the ego that's like, yo, bro, yo, leave it alone. You feel me? It's the motherfucker barker. It's the motherfucking barker that's always running their mouth. They have built the confidence in the behavior of being tough. You feel me? The behavior of being tough. And it is the attempt to behave in being tough that motherfuckers don't really be tough. So here's what I mean by that. It's like, so when women say they want to feel protected, like if a man walk in, if a woman walked in a room right now and a black man is there too, it should be no question that, or if maybe something happened, like everybody around should feel like, oh nah, there's a black woman here, there's a black man here. I'm not gonna get like nobody feels that. Nobody fears that because our ego wants us to feel that. And then here's I'm gonna tie it back to how fucked up it is and how behavior changed because our ego naturally wants that. You can't argue me down with that shit. When you were a kid, what fucked our ego up is regard to how we view women was the whole conceptualization of being a mama's boy. It's so like our mother is our first love. Period. A mother is a son's first love. And with her being his first love and shit, when we fall in love for our mothers or rise in love for our mothers, and we kind of say, oh, yo, you a mama's boy. You start to hear shit negatively towards that. And this is a natural inclination you feel. What do you think happens? You stop loving women because you don't like women anymore. Oh, I ain't a mama's boy. I'm this, that, and the third. I used to hate that shit growing up. I used to get called a mama's boy a lot. I used to get called a mama's boy a lot. But then now I look at the parallelism. That's what kind of low key made me a misogynist. But on the inner level, I had a deep yearning and a deep feeling and a deep reverence for women. We all do. We all do. It's natural. I don't give a fuck what you say. You can argue all day long. It's a natural proclivity that you naturally have towards women. You see it when we kids. You feel me? That girl you got the crush on and shit. But here's why it gets fucked up, because the ego is bad. And with the bad ego, we develop a bad mentality. So this is why when you actually crushing on a shorty and shit, you end up pulling her hair or disrespecting her, because the behavior is bitches ain't shit. We get confidence in perceiving that our women ain't shit. Think about that shit. That shit fucks with our ego so bad, because our ego knows better, but it's never fed anything better. You feel me? I had people say shit like, yo, I ain't fighting over a bitch. I wouldn't fight over a bitch neither, but I will bust your ass over my fucking woman. My woman ain't a bitch. I don't view her like that. I will fuck you up over my lady. We can get with the shits. You feel me? That's a part of a healthy ego. Like me fighting and me coming from that space, that's a part of my ego. That ain't the behavior that I had. That's a part of just who I am. I do the shit for my mama, my sisters, my aunties, my cousins. That's where I am with my shit. You feel what I'm saying? But there was a time when I couldn't feed the ego right. So I had built the comment, bitches ain't shit, man. I don't give a fuck about it. And deep down inside, I'm a sucker for love. I ain't even gonna hold you, bruh. When I'm really in a relationship, die hard, like I go all in, like, cause I didn't realize like that's just what I am. Like this ties into the stars and shit. Like if you know astrology and shit, you know what, I got a Venus in Pisces, bro. I'm an emotional lover, dog. Like I don't give like I know how much shit I talk and shit like that. That's a different aspect. But for the energy that created me as far as love goes, I have a Venus in Pisces, yo. I am a fucking passionate lover. I am a deep lover. Only women that have ever experienced me like that know what it is. It's like it be so deep and so intertwined. And be like, oh my gosh, you're just so it's so. I'm telling you, baby, this is power. But I embraced it. I embraced it at one point. I used to hate it. Like I used to be like, yo, man, I really like women, like on a deep level, man. But you know, homies over hoes and shit. Like you ain't supposed to be. No, nigga, no. It's like I ain't putting like. I used to want to go kick it with the girls over my homies and shit. And my homies used to get mad. I'm like, nigga, I'm with some girls. Nigga, what the fuck? Fuck is y'all tripping for? But it's the behavior. It's like, don't give a fuck about these bitches, don't care. Like, you start to starve your ego. And your ego is who you really are. That little motherfucker that's like, yo, damn, shorty bad. Like, when you build confidence in your ego and not a pseudo expression of your behavior, because your behaviors change. Your behaviors are predicated by what stimulates your behavior. Our behaviors are predicated by how we feel. You feel what I'm saying? Your ego is how you be. It's no changing that shit. It's no up, down, high, lows. It is what it is. That's the ego. So we need to take time to spend time with the ego and not try to kill it, but understand it. Those quirky moments where it's just like, you know, you're experiencing something, you're like, I feel like doing this. And then you have to consciously tell yourself, I'm not like that. I'm not built like when people say shit like, this is one way that I know that the ego is healthy and it's vibrant and it's positive for you. When people tell me shit like, I always wanted to do that, but I didn't find like, no, that was your ego that wanted to do that shit. However, your behavior made you change your mind. Your behaviors made you change your mind, and your behaviors made you sit in a certain way. You know, our jobs are like everything. It makes us sit in a certain place where we can't be. We have to behave. So our egos we don't have time to sit with our egos and make them positive. But then when niggas' egos really come up and it's always negative, destructive shit happens. You feel me? Destructive shit happens. This is why it's important to create a system where the father is not in the home. This is why it's important to create a symbolism where everything that you do is negative so your ego can be fed a certain way. So when the positive shit comes out of yourself, you're like, I ain't supposed to feel that. That's corny. That's whack. I grew up with so much positive shit being corny, it wasn't even funny. You feel me? So much positive shit. I remember having a conversation with a motherfucker who literally was like, oh, here go your healthy eating ass. Nigga, how is that bad? Like, what the fuck? But a lot of times our egos can be big. Now imagine having a big, healthy ego. So whenever we look at egos and shit, motherfucker be like, oh yeah, that ego's too big because it becomes arrogant. It becomes this, it becomes all of these other things. But nobody ever shows you the positive side of it. The positive side is like very modest. Like this is why I say this shit all the time. I mean it with the most modesty because I had to, because people are gonna assume some of the shit that I say is arrogant. I'm like, it's only arrogant because you basing it off your confidence, and your confidence established by how you behave and not how you get to be. Why the fuck would I succumb to your thoughts? Like for real, I don't give a fuck about nobody anymore calling me arrogant. I used to. I used to feel bad. I used to be like, I'm not arrogant, bro. Don't be cocky. Like before I embraced myself, I would dilute myself because people would call me arrogant. Like so much so I'm like, damn, I'm just good. Like the fuck has that ever dawned on you? Like, why do I have to be humble? Be humble. Then I learned the power of what that word meant. Humble means to make insignificant. The more I humble myself, the less greater I felt in life and the less greater I performed. Because I don't want people to like fuck them people. I ain't about to behave for your motherfucking insecurity. I gotta be for me, which is ego. So when I started to embrace that, it was like, yo, I can't argue with you motherfuckers. It ain't my fault you not good. I'm good at this shit. Whatever the shit is that I'm discussing, I'm like, I'm good at it. Like, don't be arrogant. It's not arrogant. It's not arrogant. You're basing my reality off of your perception. You're gonna get fucked up because your perception is based off of information that you don't have that I do. You feel what I'm saying? I got a homie who was, well, he ain't a homie. I got a cousin who was like, he was like, yeah, because the stock market is just like gambling. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's like you just throwing money in there and don't know what you're doing. No, nigga, you throw money in there and don't know what you're doing, nigga. It's not gambling, bro. It's a science to the shit. I could teach you, but I have to charge. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, nah, man, I'm telling you, yo, no. You're telling me what? Perception? Yeah, stock market is gambling. Is because you don't know what is. You kind of do know what's gonna happen. There's no way this shit has been popping like that for so long. But when I started to learn certain aspects like that, when I got good at shit and I was able to, I was like, I can't behave as if I do this shit because I do this shit. So why behave like I do? You feel me? So when you start to be, and you know what I'm saying, that ego aspect starts to be fed healthily, it's like you could talk your shit. Now it gets problematic for other people because talking shit from your ego to motherfuckers who are operating from a confident perspective in their behaviors, you're gonna hurt a lot of feelings. Your shit will fall on a lot of miserable ears. Hey, bro, for real though, at some point we gotta stop talking to women about masculinity and start talking to each other about it. And I mean really talk to each other. Not as enablers and co-signers, but as men trying to reach the pinnacle of our essence. And that's what the So Frail series does. So Frail 1 is the definition. So Frail 2 is the acknowledgement. And So Frail 3 is the resolution. If you rock with the So Frail conversations, I can guarantee you will rock with the So Frail series of books. So visit IamJustSaying.com right now so you can add the series to your library. I promise you will never look at masculinity the same again, and you're going to stop wasting your time arguing with women about it. This is a conversation that men need to have between men, and it's time we start having this conversation now. You feel me? I know so many motherfuckers is like, and this is how I know when my healthy ego is talking to the unhealthy ego. I'm like, rather than bitching, you could just learn from me. Nah, I ain't going through all of that. I ain't gonna like, shit be crazy, man. Shit be crazy. But the way our egos are wired as men, we don't acknowledge them. We don't acknowledge them. We don't want to, because now I'm gonna tie into the part of accountability. Because when your ego becomes healthy, how do you keep it healthy? You got to keep doing that shit to feed it healthily, logically, right? So let's say your ego naturally has an insatiable thirst for knowledge, but you don't want to study nothing. Let's say your ego has a natural proclivity for growth and development, and you want to remain a big fish in a small pond. You feel what I'm saying? Your ego is the who, what, where, is the depths of who you are that makes you, that carries you through the storm. When people say shit like it's higher self versus lower self, your lower self is your ego, but so is your higher self. This is why I tell people you have the absolute self. There's not a point of having a lower self or a higher self because then you have to pick a side. But when you have your absolute self, you embrace the being. That's your ego. When you decide, oh, I got to be in my higher self today, you're going to behave confidently as one side of yourself and forget the duality. Like, no, 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 no. I've reached the point now where I can comfortably talk shit to people without that without that build up. You feel me? Without that build up. What I mean by that is like when you behave a certain way, you tolerate a lot of shit and you get to a point where you're like, okay, now I blew up. I don't have to blow up anymore because from the jump, you're gonna know not to play with me. Like from the jump, I've learned to like not let it build up. Like I got like motherfuckers be like, yo, I can look at your face and know that like my facial expressions tell it all every time. And my facial expressions are tied to my core. My core is tied to my ego. And my ego, I don't hide anymore. If you're annoying me, you'll see it on my face. If I'm content with you, you'll see it on my face. Like my emotions will manifest themselves in my facial expression, and I don't hide it anymore. That's a part of my ego. That's a part of my ego because there's certain things that's like, what? Like we try to do, little mannerisms that's like, yo. And then now when you look at shit like passive aggressivism, right? Motherfuckers be, their ego wants to say more than it is, but it's like, I have to behave a certain way. It's like, nah, fuck that. This ain't it, chief. This ain't gonna fly. Mm-mm. Damn, you just gonna come. Yep. Yep. I'm gonna say it like that. You're not gonna play with me, and I'm not gonna play with you. We're gonna leave it at that. There's no. Mm-mm. I'm not leaving no ambiguity for nothing. Nothing. But like I said, when you had that confidence in your behavior, it can make you want to, act a certain way rather than be the way you're supposed to be. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like it's why is the ego not taught the way the ego is supposed to be taught? Like everybody's on some, let the ego die or whatever the case may be. And no, why kill the motherfucker? Because you kill you. This is why it's so hard to kill the ego. Because it's like you can't nobody can no not many people acknowledge that part yet. And you know how many times you try to kill your ego over and over and over again, and you continue to let your ego run over and over again, but you don't sustain it. You don't do nothing powerful with it. You feel me? Why? Why? I ask why because it's like, what happens to the person who's thinking that, you know, my ego is supposed to be, my ego is bad, but it's like that's the shit that's really making you pop. The shit that got you the promotion at work, the shit that got the eyes, the shit that made Shorty check you out or whatever. That's your ego. That ain't your confidence. Like, cause it's like that's the shit that nobody sees. Like people see your ego, and your ego is so tied to every aspect of who you are that it's like if you don't strengthen it, then what you gonna do? Like how you gonna be with that shit? You feel what I'm saying? Because then you have people who will call you out on your shit, like, yo, you changing. You just, no, no, I'm actually learning to be myself. I stopped behaving. I stopped having confidence in the way I behave. Like, because now I got to talk. Like, I used to hear religious people all the time say, um, because I'm a cusser, bro. I'm a cusser, bro. Like I just cuss. Like, I've been cussing since I was like four or five or some shit. Like, I'm a cusser. Fuck, I can't help it. I mean, I can help it. I can stop it at will, but I don't try to control the shit anymore. Like, it's like, because then I gotta be. That's too much behaving. That's not enough being. I just had like the life that I've experienced. It caused me to be a cusser. Like shit just flows. Like you feel me? Like I'm fluid in cussing. So that that taught me early that it's like certain shit is just who you are. You feel me? I'm not saying like I intentionally came into this world to be a cusser and shit, but I mean it. I'm saying that in the sense that I had a elder, a religious elder, say, "If it ain't in you, it ain't gonna come out of you." Because I was cussing and shit. Mind you, I think I'm a grown ass man at this point that I'm doing that. It was like late teens, early 20s. So, like, yeah, if it ain't in you, it ain't gonna come out. And I was like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, nah, it's still gonna come out because I'd rather it come out when I want it to come out than, oh, he's mad now. Now I know. Nah, it ain't gonna be no indicator that I'm mad. Like, it ain't gonna be no indicator that I'm this, that, and the third. It's like I'm not behaving a certain way to where when I reach a certain threshold, now I can let all my inhibitions go and I can, oh, now I could talk like this. Oh, it's understandable why I know you're angry and this, that, and the third. Nah, bruh. I can't play like that. You feel me? I can't wait until a moment of the moment of explosion happens to explode. You feel me? I gotta let you know how deep that I can explode at any given moment. So don't push me. You feel me? But that comes basically from my ego side. You feel me? So as he's telling me, like, if it ain't in you, it wouldn't come out of you. And I'm like, I just sat back and I looked at it like, but who put these things in me? Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's like the environment, my circumstances, all these different things, the shit that you elders were supposed to make better for me. So it's like, why is it that y'all can always critique and comment on, oh well, nah, because everybody only wants to worry about themselves when it's time to accept the accountability of what they were supposed to do for the world. But then when it's the individual thing, when they're not even focusing on the world, then they want to put everything, impart everything that they supposedly know on you. Like, no, you supposed to you had a mission to do and you didn't do the shit. Don't come and project your mission on me because you ain't living it. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my face. I talk shit. I'm gonna talk shit. You feel me? And it's in me. And you know why it's in me? Because of the way in which I had to develop myself. The way in which my ego knew it had to move that I was being oblivious to. So now I behave a certain way. Oh, I can't cuss. I can't say shit like this. Like, no, I'm around cussing all the fucking time. It's a part of my vocabulary. Cuss words are vocabulary words. Fuck the bullshit. They're just the ones I use the most. You feel what I'm saying? They got us in a space where it's like, I had a teacher once say, she was like, profanity is a mark of intelligence, you know. Use other words rather than the cuss words or whatever the case may be to show how intelligent you are. That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. It just shows how much I have confidence in trying to behave above a certain way. I ain't got to behave for this shit. My vocabulary is fucking impeccable. My vocabulary is extensive, but I only use the words that I need to when I need to because I know my ego it don't need to be negatively impacted, but it needs to be vibrant and alive. When the word comes out and it needs to come out, I use the motherfucker. Like, otherwise, I use motherfucker. You feel me? But it's a part of having the healthy ego. You feel me? It's a part of having a healthy ego and understanding, okay, this is who you are. Embrace it. Love it. You feel what I'm saying? Fucking embrace it and love it and like find how you have to use it and tap in. That's really all it is a tapping in phase. Everybody ain't tapping in because everybody can't. You dig what I'm saying? Everybody can't tap in. And everybody can't tap in, like I said, because they're so busy on seeing how much confidence they can maintain or how much confidence they can develop in the perception of the mask that they gotta wear. It's why niggas be miserable and depressed, bro. Imagine, yo, like this is why a lot of adults are depressed, right? I mean, depressed. Like I say, we probably in real time we have 8 solid good years in our lives as functioning quote unquote adults or some shit. I said we have 8 years, right? And I'm gonna say that I ain't even gonna say as adults, but you have high school, the first 4 years in high school. It should only be 4, but the first you got the 4 years in high school, and then you got 4 years in college if you go. After that, you live the same life for the rest of your life. Behave the same way for the rest of your life. You feel me? Your ego dies. And when the ego dies, but that behavior stays so strong, it's like that's why motherfuckers be depressed for so long. Imagine living 40 years of your life and you're not living what you want to do. You miserable. You don't give a fuck about none of this shit. But you know you got to get this money. You know you got to get a paycheck, and you figure they tell you, "Oh, do what you love." Don't nobody love what the fuck they do. Don't nobody love what the fuck they do. Like I'm saying, like I don't know funny shit. Like you can, but nah. I'm gonna say, let me rephrase that. Everybody doesn't love what they do forever. I'm gonna say that. They say find a job that you love and you'll never work a day in your life. You're only gonna find a job that you love, and you're only gonna love it for 3 years. So you're only gonna work. You're only not gonna work for 3 years, and then after that, nigga, I'm only here for the check. Fuck y'all, pay me. You feel me? Because if you really were finding what you love and doing it all the time, you would be an entrepreneur, not an employee. That's the mind fuck of it all right there. Find what you love to do, and you never have to work a day in your life. So I have to love the job that I didn't create. Okay, that's that perception of the confidence because now it's like, yo, what should high value shit? Oh, I'm this, that, and the third in the company, but I'm motherfucking mentally broken down and can't function because it's like I can't keep this behavior up. I'm mad, I'm depressed, I'm angry because it's always something. I got to deal with this. In corporate America, we gotta in a world built on racism, they gotta look us dead in our soul and say everything ain't about race. Nigga, yes, the fuck it is. Every experience that I experience is going to be about race. I don't give a fuck because at the end of the day, it's all predicated and established off of fucking race. That's not a fucking reach. That's a fucking reality. Like it's established off of race. You feel me? But when you're telling me behave in a way that I don't see your race, niggas gonna say I don't see color. Use a fucking lie. Use a fucking lie. Everybody sees fucking color. You may not see, if you say you don't see color, you can't deny what you feel from the colors in front of you. You feel me? You can't deny that shit. So you talk that shit. I don't see color. I'll date a black person. Bitch, you just called them black. Nigga. Fuck, that's a color. Stupid. You motherfuckers is retarded, bro. I swear. But anywho, it sounds good to talk about certain shit to be PC and shit like that. Like say certain shit like we're in the age for that. We are definitely in the age for that. Like, there's a lot of shit that I can't say that I won't say that because motherfuckers like, you know, but I don't give a fuck about it. Like when people say shit like, oh, they're gonna shut I don't care if they shut my social media down. The fuck, like, do it, nigga. I don't care. Like the fuck, and like I never really understood like why, and I understand now. It's like now with the confidence from the beginning, it's like, oh shit, I'm building all of this shit off of like a lot of my shit is built off of my social media platform. So it's like if they take it away, then where you gonna go? The fuck, I just won't have a social media. And the things that are tied to social media, sure, I won't have 'em. My website still stands. They took my podcast out. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what would you do? I'll maneuver and pivot, bitch. I got like, I don't get it. Like, you feel me? I don't get it. Like, but that's tied into my ego. You feel me? Now, those same people who get threatened and shit for the social media and shit, they want to come out and be like, that's an unhealthy ego to where it's like, yo, this is fucked up. They always saying this and shit. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. The reason why I don't give a fuck about none of the shit that it's not my platform. I'm at their house. I can't be in their house talking shit about them and getting mad when they want to kick me out. That's not fair. You want to kick me out your house because I was talking shit about you. Wouldn't you do the fucking same? A motherfucker pulled up to your crib right now and said they want to fade you and start talking shit about you ain't shit. And it's like, would you not want to kick? Like, you gonna let them stay there? Fuck no. So social media do the same shit, but the unhealthy ego gets mad. I got freedom of speech. I got this and third. It's called terms and conditions, terms and agreements. Y'all don't be fucking reading. You feel me? I don't read the terms and agreements either. But when they say I violated community guidelines, shit, I don't know what the community guidelines are. So nigga, I probably did. The fuck, this your shit. You can say that I violated for whatever. You feel me? It's whatever. Like, you feel me? Like I said, a lot of the shit that I was posting on Rona and shit, none of the shit was wrong. It was just ill timed. You feel me? I spoke on it before they had a chance to speak on it and said whatever it was. But then it's like, you feel me? They were like, oh, this is misinformation. Fact checkers proved this, that, and the third. Boo, boo, boo. All right. Tell me what the fact was. Tell me what the wrong fact was. You feel me? And this is why I was very strategic, because a lot of the shit was based off of just how the meme was. Having a picture, having a wrong word or something in the meme, it's like, that's false information. No, it's not. It's semantics. That's what it is. But you feel me? You violated community guide. Like right now, like I just found out because I had been off of that other page, but I get back on, so I'm about to make a reel and shit. And it's like, oh, you can monetize, and they said I can't monetize with my reels because I violated community guidelines. Like, bro, I got like 14,000 posts. I don't even know which posts I violated community guidelines on, but I'm pretty sure I did. I talk shit. But at the same time, it's like, I know people who will be on a space of, yo, that's bullshit, man. They're not gonna let me monetize, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yo, I'm chilling. I'm like, yo, yeah, all right, well, I can see that. I'm not mad at you for not letting me monetize. Like, it's a part of my healthy ego. You feel me? Like it's like, yeah, I be talking shit about y'all on y'all shit and daring you to do something, and y'all don't do it. But y'all to keep because they think it's I'm gonna punish you. You're not gonna be able to monetize your reels. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be peanuts anyway. The fuck, fuck what I'm gonna do with that money? Buy coffee that I don't drink. The fuck, you feel me? But that is that is a lot of times what is happening here. You feel me? And a lot of people, their confidence in themselves has the confidence in the pseudo reality of themselves and not the mastering of the healthy ego. Like this, why I was saying, like when the conscious community was booming heavy. I don't know if y'all remember me saying this shit or not. Um, but like I will always say, like all my women, because it was a lot of the men. There was black woman as God shit. They was doing all this other shit. And I was like, yo, y'all women, y'all better read the 48 Laws of Power before y'all start succumbing to these dudes, bro, and start listening to them. Read the 48 Laws of Power. I'm telling y'all, I gave the game I was trying to. Now we look at like the ego, the egos, the behavior couldn't be maintained anymore. A lot of motherfuckers have collapsed because the ego. Their egos weren't healthy. They were negative, and they behaved a way as if they carried themselves with the healthy ego. Yeah, you knew all this information, you learned, but the fuck, shit just it got different. Like it got different. It's like, yo, what happened? Y'all started off one way, now y'all here because they never led with the healthy ego. They always had the unhealthy ego, and it built off of the fact that they behaved a certain way to cater to the people. Everybody was woke. Everybody was learning shit. Everybody was trying to, get this knowledge and shit and everything like that. But not many people are actually sitting with it. All of my knowledge sits in my ego. It don't just sit in my mind. So I can actually express it a lot deeper and go deeper into the dynamics of it. You feel me? Rather than, yo, go do your own research. You got Google, you got this, because motherfuckers be microwaving shit. I don't microwave shit. That's why I be going down rabbit holes and I can talk the shit that I taught, like, because I don't microwave my information. I slow cook the fuck out of it. You feel me? But it's tied to the fact that I made my ego healthy. You feel me? I accepted the healthiness of what an ego needs to be and I embraced it. You feel me? Certain shit you just can't help. It just is the way it is. And it's like when your ego embraces it. Like I got homies who would say shit. They like, yo, you're the good kind of arrogant. There is no good kind of arrogant. I have a healthy ego. You're like, nah, I'm just saying like you the good arrogant because like you talk your shit and you confident in your shit, but you can prove it. Then that means that's not arrogance. That's not arrogance. That's just a presentation that you're not used to hearing. I'm sorry. You feel me? I'm not biting my tongue and going backwards because you feel uncomfortable and you feel insecure. Like that's why my response to motherfuckers who say you don't know everything, I respond with, but I know what the fuck I be talking about. You're not going to deflect from the fact that I'm expressing something that just because you can't comprehend it or you don't understand it, that it's wrong or now you want to throw the shots. You don't know everything. I know I don't. But I know what the fuck I be talking about. That's a response from a healthy ego. Like I know, like, you feel me? I know myself. I understand myself. I don't just believe in certain shit in me. Like I know the full gamut of who I am, which is hard because a lot of people like, yo, you'll spend a lifetime and not know who the fuck you are. Why? Why? Who the fuck taught you that? That's my biggest question to motherfuckers sometimes. I'm like, yo, who the fuck taught you some of the shit that you believe in yourself and why? You feel me? And it goes back to what I was talking about with the elder, talking about if it ain't in you, it won't come out. Pessimism, if it ain't in you, it won't come out. Cynicism, if it ain't in you, it won't come out. You feel me? You don't just wake up in the morning and feel like, you know what? I'm against the world. I don't like the world. Fuck the world. The fuck? You don't just wake up like that. You don't just behave like that. It is a innate thing that society has pushed on you, that your environment, your circumstances have led to you doing or being. You feel me? But motherfuckers want to worry about profanity and the way behavior is. Like, no. Certain shit is pushed down into you. So it's like when a motherfucker tells you, yo, I'm good at this. No, you're not. Prove it. I ain't gotta prove shit. I just told you and I reaffirmed what the fuck I'm good at. Like, you feel me? My healthy ego doesn't have to prove anything to a motherfucker. Now my unhealthy ego's like, yo, watch this. It's like, nah. That's why I don't talk about. That's why I try not to brag about certain shit. It just some shit just come off as bragging because it's like, yo, I be that good with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't be bragging. It's like sometimes you be sharing shit to miserable ears, and it's gonna come off as bragging. You feel me? I had a motherfucker tell me, like I told him, I was like, I'm one of the most modest people on the face of the earth. They did that, they did that little bullshit right there, right? So I asked him, I said, what makes me arrogant? It's just the way you talk. Like you just do I be lying? Nah, you don't be lying, but it's the no, it should no. There is no how you say the shit. I said it right. You feel me? That's what fucks a lot of us up because we feel like, it's behavior. You feel me? The behavior for a mask. I'm not wearing a mask and I'm behaving a certain way. I'm gonna speak the way I fucking want to speak. The fuck? Oh nah, it's you can say certain shit. It's just how you say it. You be saying, I say it the way the truth wants me to say it. I say it the way it's supposed to be said. Why the fuck would I say it any other way? Did you get it? Did it make sense? Could you comprehend it? Shut the fuck up. Respectfully. Respectfully. That is the most funniest line ever, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I fuck with it, but it's like niggas be saying respectfully, like right after some disrespectful shit. You feel me? Like they be like, yo, respectfully though, respectfully, you a bitch, and I don't fuck with you, but respectfully. Like, nah, they don't be doing that shit. I just be dramatic with it extra. Respectfully. But yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I was just thinking about it. Motherfuckers. Respectfully, like y'all niggas in a whole heated discussion, and you talking about respectfully. Ain't no respect here right now, bruh. But that's ego shit. That's tied to the ego shit. That's tied to the pseudo expression of the behavior. That's like, nah, make your ego healthy, yo. Make your ego healthy. Like strengthen that motherfucker. Like sit with it. You feel me? And learn how to embrace all that it brings you. You feel me? Your ego is your highs, your lows, your ins and outs. It's every aspect of who you are. Imagine depriving that to go and put a mask on. You feel me? To go and put a mask on. I get it. This is gonna sound like so crazy, but this is so real conversation. So the lady shouldn't be in the building any motherfucking way. Anyway, so you feel me? It's like women with long hair, with good healthy hair who still wear weave. Like that's it. That's like that is a perfect example of the ego not being fed and the fucking the mask being what they have confidence in. You feel me? I know women with hair past their shoulders, almost to their asses. They gonna wear weave though. Call it a protected style, call it whatever. I get it. I get it. Like I get it. I feel you. That's where you stand. You feel me? But at the same time, it's like that's kind of an example of the difference between the ego and that falsified perception of confidence. Like, but then it's like we cater to the behavior the same way we were supposed to cater to the ego. Think about it. Like sticking with that same metaphor. I know women who literally comb, who will literally comb, wash, rinse, and repeat. They fucking weaves. You got natural hair on your head that grows out now. You can do it with that. I don't. But again, I'm not a woman. I'm not a woman with those hair issues, so I can't. I just. But my thing is like maintenance and care. It's like it's too much to maintain. It's like so that becomes it shows on a metaphorical level that our ego sometimes is too hard for us to actually maintain, and we don't admit it because it requires so much out of us that I'd rather put on the mask. I'd rather be the face of this shit. I'd rather be the high value man, not the nigga with substance. You feel me? I'd rather be just a high value man. I can wear the suit and tie. I can do this like, you feel me? I always knew I had a healthy ego, low key, when I was young. Like, whenever my homies said, it's little things that I can look back on and say, okay, bam, it was straight. I get it. Like, my homies just be like, yo, let's go meet some girls. You feel me? All right, I'm going to my shorty house, man. She gonna have some friends over there. Yo, come with me. All right. I throw on some balling shorts. You feel me? Now, mind you, I be bummy as hell, but I be matching still. I know it's like who the fuck cares? It's like my shoes match my shorts, shorts match my shirt. Like I be bummy though. Like it just be old shit. But I go, he like, yeah, man, why you don't never dress up whenever you go? Cause man, watch me still get them. Watch me still get them. I said, it's not. I said, look, bro, if I dressed up, it wouldn't be fair. I might take your girl. Cause at the time we was in no space where we was sharing chicks and passing them triple F and all that other crazy shit. Kids. But I said, you know what? I gotta make sure a motherfucker fuck with me for me. Not fuck with me because you feel me, they think I got something or whatever the case may be. So I've always been in that space, but I realized it was always a healthy ego. Cause I would go with the same one. They were like, damn. I had a shorty one time tell me, she said, I got her number too. This was some amazing shit. She said, I ended up giving you my number solely because of the confidence you had to approach me looking like you look. And I was like, I asked her like, "What's wrong with how I look?" She was like, "Most people, if they not dressed a certain way, they not gonna have the confidence to come in." And like, "Yo, I saw you. I didn't give a like." Because I'm like, at the end of the day, let's say we were gonna connect vibe or whatever, how the case may be. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna be like this all the time. I don't want to be like that all the time. Sometimes I want to chill and be. It's like so. My confidence has to be in not in my behavior of how I approach you because I got to stay there, but in who I really am. I got so many motherfucking numbers off some shit like that just because I was that dude. You feel me? And then it's like when it was time to quote unquote, they were like, "Oh my gosh, she stepped his." I never stepped the game up. I just put some clothes on. You get like motherfuckers don't get like how raw your essence has to be to make shit look good. You feel me? Like motherfuckers be like, "Yo, you clean up nice, bitch." I wasn't dirty. The fuck? I don't get it. Like I never really understood that phrase. I remember when I got promoted when I was in Philly. And I got promoted to account manager, and I had to start wearing suits and ties and shit, right? Because it was like, yo, you can't, just wear the jeans and the little valet shirt no more. You account manager, you can get the suit and tie. All right, cool. First day, first day. It was like crazy because I took when they promoted me, they gave me the weekend off and shit to calibrate. So I went, splurged out, got my little suits and shit. And that motherfucker's like, it's like, yo, I know how to buy a suit. I know how to wear a suit. Like I know how to tie. I know how to look fucking like. I just don't have to because it's like I don't do it all the time. So I go to work and like one of the front desk ladies at the hotel is like I said, like you pay attention to people differently. Like I always had an inner glow. Like people always like, yo, it's just something about your energy. I know it's a healthy ego. So it don't matter like how I'm looking, I'm gonna give off that vibe. So um she came outside and she was like, I did not know who that was. She was like, wow, like she was like, yo, you clean up nice. I was like, thank you. Thank you. But I was like, so you implying that I'm dirty? She said, no, 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 no. I'm just saying. She said, I just never, she said, because of what you always wear, like to work, I never pictured like how well you can put a suit together. Like, it was like, yo, like you match the color schemes, the belt. I know how to do this shit, bro. I don't have to do it. I don't have anything to prove. Ego is so powerful. When you master your ego and you make it healthy, right? Ego makes it so that you have nothing else. You have nothing to prove because you don't, right? There's absolutely nothing that you have to prove. However, when you do what you fucking do it. And don't forget to check out Polycafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Polycafe Clothing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. I want to talk about that episode because I want to talk about ego and shit like this today because it's like I feel like a lot of my brothers, a lot of us, we can't go there. Like we really can't go there the way that we supposed to, and it's like we feel like oh, I gotta dilute myself because man, fuck that, yo, turn the fuck up, bro, turn the fuck up, bro. Like you know, you are who you are for a reason. Be that. It's motherfuckers that fuck with you. And this is what I'm tying it into like our missions in life and shit. Everybody like, yo, what am I here for? Like, you here to be you. Figure that shit out. Tap into your ego. Tap into your true ego and accept it and embrace it and let it guide you and use it in a healthy manner. You feel me? Y'all know I'm a Dragon Ball Z head and shit. So a part of the newer mangas and shit, motherfucking Vegeta done went Ultra Ego, which is very crazy because that's his thing. Goku went Ultra Instinct. This is a dope divergence in which the storyline, because I always see shit deeper. So Goku went Ultra Instinct, right? In a sense, there he can evade a lot of shit, a lot more, a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? Vegeta, on the other hand, went Ultra Ego. They had their own little transformations or whatever the case may be. But Ultra Ego, in the final, like in the little final manga shit that I watched a while back, Goku hit this nigga with an Ultra Instinct Kamehameha, right? Like with everything he had. And Vegeta just stood there and took it. And he said, my Ultra Ego is better than your Ultra Instinct because my Ultra Ego is me embracing that I like pain and I develop and I grow off of pain. This is not to say do this shit, but I'm speaking on when he saw his ego. And then it made sense because all through the series and shit, it's always Vegeta's ego, his pride. I'm the Prince of all Saiyans and shit like that. That's what it was. It was ego. And it went from a point of a strong desire wanting it because his family, and it's like he embraced it and he accepted his ego and he made it an extension of him. So much so it tapped him into something that's like, yo, he can't be stopped. The nigga really can't be stopped. Like and it's like, because Saiyans and shit, they got some kind of boost and shit where if they come back from near death and shit, they get stronger. That's the wrong thing to tie to Ultra Ego and shit. Like the nigga, he can't be stopped. He's going to intentionally push himself to be, pushed within the brink so he can get stronger. You feel me? I'm using that example because it's talking about Ultra Ego. It's like our ego is our absolute self. It's our absolute self. It's the good, it's the bad, it's they fuse together. Like you can't separate that reality from yourself. And my brothers, that's what this world has made us do. It has conditioned us to have to separate who we are and pick a side. If you go into the corporate America side, you can't be your side that'll smack the shit out of a motherfucker if they said something crazy. If you want to embrace your side that's gonna slap the shit out of a motherfucker, you're not gonna last long in this certain settings. You feel me? They're putting so many different things on us that's like you can't access your true self because your true self is your ego. So that shit lies dormant. And the only time it shows up is at home. You feel me? But by then it's too late. You have reached the tolerance, your threshold. That's why we always arguing when we come home. We with our women and shit. It's always something small because our ego has not been healthy. We have not fed it. You feel me? And part of my ego is like I talk shit. We know that. But a part of my ego is I'm a musician. That's the part of the healthy side. You feel me? And I'm dope at it. The part of my ego is like I'm a scholar and I'm dope at it. Like those are parts of my ego that's like imagine being a scholar all your life and succumbing to the fact that you were a nerd. Your ego gets hit. It gets hit heavy. That's why it hurts so much. When my pops called me a nerd, that shit hurt. It shit hurt bad because it was true. Like when the truth hits you and it hurts, it's because it's true. You feel me? But it hits your ego. But if your ego's unhealthy, it hurts you. It hurts you bad. You feel me? And only certain things can tap into your ego. Not everything can hit your ego. I've been called a nerd by people who were dumber than me. I didn't care. But to be called a nerd by my father was different because I sought approval from him. It affected my ego in that. But then, like I said, I embraced it and was like, yo, fuck that. Now I embrace it so much so that I tell niggas I'm a genius. And I mean it. They be like, you might want to slow it down. I'm dead ass serious, bro. I'm a whole genius out this motherfucker. Like, there's no way, and there's no way I can argue that anymore. You feel me? I can't argue that anymore. You feel me? And a part of my healthy ego is that I don't deny the realities of myself. The next motherfucker may not like it, but that's not my problem. That's not my problem. My ego is healthy enough to acknowledge that, yo, this is what I am. Problem is, a lot of the shit that our ego would be the most healthy in is intangible shit. You feel me? If a nigga say, like, I use this example because it's so simple. If I tell a motherfucker, yo, I'm 6'2", okay. No, I tell a motherfucker, I'm tall. Why? Because you're 6'2". Okay. Yeah, you tall. You tall. But if I tell a motherfucker I'm a genius, like, what's your IQ? No, you miss it because genius isn't, you can't quantify genius on a paper, and that's why you stuck. Genius is what you tap into, is what you have. I'm a fucking genius because I understood what it took to be a genius by accepting my ego, making it healthy, and putting the things together to make me that. You feel me? A genius is any being that can tap into their deepest creative energy. Y'all niggas can't call me. Y'all motherfuckers cannot say I'm not creative in any way, shape, or form. Such that I create shit that motherfuckers can't even fathom anymore. You feel what I'm saying? When I do my jam sessions and shit, that's just me being me. But motherfuckers be like, damn, bro, that shit went in. It was this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. How you put these schemes together and shit like that? I do it. I do it. I embrace it because that is a part of my ego. And I chose to use it healthily. And I can't stop. I can play the saxophone. I can do a lot of shit that people don't really know about because it's like a part of myself was like, you got to put some of those things away. You know, you're getting older and shit, whatever the case may be. But I'm still fluent in all of the shit. You feel me? I make beats. I like my creativity is on a whole nother level. You feel me? It's on a whole other level. Should I deny that in myself? No, my creativity is my genius. I'm a fucking genius. It's not my fault that other people have not tapped into that. And they won't tap into that. And they think that to tap into it is, science and math. Like, I got a cousin one time, little cousin, I told him, yo, I'm a genius. And he asked me a math problem. And I answered it. I said, let me show you why there's going to be a fallacy in that. I said, you can only ask me a question you know the answer to qualify whether I'm a genius or not. And I know the answers to your questions. He was like, what? I said, nah. I said, are you too young? All right, let me see if I can break it down another way. So I told him, I said, when you ask me this math question, it's based off of how far you've gone into mathematics. I've already gone far beyond that. I think he was like, because he's high school, I think he was like 10th grade. So I think it was like geometry or something. I said, bro, I've already gone to calculus, trigonometry, all of that. I've gone to those already, like advanced functions. Your question is not going to be problematic to me. So it's like, that's one of the things that I fall into with people. People want you to prove something. I have nothing else to prove to anybody because I've learned that to prove anything to you means that I have to prove it according to your standard. You're not even where I am. Even my most minuscule shit will be proof to you of what I can do. You feel what I'm saying? Imagine what the most magnanimous shit that I have that can prove it is going to lose you. That's a healthy ego. That's a healthy ego. No motherfucking person can validate your shit but you. You know on the inside whether or not you're speaking from a place of, real conviction or just, you bullshitting. But to have to prove it, that's when it becomes, oh shit. You know what I mean? I love proving myself. I love proving it. Because then that's when it becomes, oh, you're an asshole. I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole at all. You wanted to smoke, so here's the fire. Sorry. I left it alone. Like I used to tell people all the time, like, I used to say shit like, I have my reasons. When a motherfucker asks me some questions that I know that, you know, I was like, I got my reasons. Nah, because I feel like you don't. All right, cool. Now when we go down the rabbit hole, I never thought about it like that before. I know you didn't. I know you didn't. I tried to tell you that. I tried to tell you that we're different people. We're not. I've gone where you haven't gone yet. But no, your unhealthy ego is trying to validate or substantiate my healthy ego. I'm aware of who I am. I'm aware of what I do. And I keep my limits into what my limitations are. Outside of that, I don't. You feel me? I don't fuck with that shit. But that's the transition that you got to make as a man to get into that ego space of, you know. Because now we're gonna flip it. Because I got started off in the beginning how ego is basically self esteem. When we look at women with self esteem, with good healthy self esteem, you feel me? They know that it's shit. They don't have to shit on other women. They know where they stand, but they don't have to make other women sit down to do so. You feel what I'm saying? Like a woman with a good self-esteem, she knows what she is. Like she got it. Like she holds that shit down. You feel me? But when she's arrogant and shit, you feel me? She's the baddest bitch in the motherfucker, but then she got other problems that just make her bad, like bad person. Like, no. You feel me? These fucking mean girl sisterhoods and shit like that. Those are motherfuckers who are in the self-esteem is fucked up, but they're only gonna use the behavior. They don't have good egos. They don't have solid self-esteem. They just behave like motherfuckers who are upper echelonians. And they're not. You feel me? That's just like the higher up I go, the more down to earth I become. I tell niggas that all the time. I be like, yo, the more spiritually sound I become, the less spiritually sound I appear. It's crazy. But I just embrace my ego. I've embraced the healthy ego and I like to talk shit about it. It's like I stand on it. And that confuses people oftentimes because it's like, you're not behaving, are you? I'm not. I'm not. I live how I want to, not how I should. Just be glad that how I want to happens to be how I should. It is. But my brothers, we need to get back into the core. And so Frail 3, I'm gonna keep so Frail 3, I got the tree of life in that motherfucker, bro. Like between the chakras, the mind, and the tree of life, I can guarantee you I can tap you back into yourself so you can figure out who the hell you are for yourself, like and know who it is and then start to live that. Like it's not a game with me. I don't just talk about this shit because I actually experience it. This is why it's so hard to break my foundation, to shake me, or change my mind. People be thinking I'm just, oh, you stubborn. I'm not. I'm not. I'm just well tapped into myself now. And my ego is now healthy and shit. I talk shit. This is why it'd be funny when motherfuckers, like I said, when motherfuckers tell me, yo, you the good kind of arrogant. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. You just acknowledge that I have a healthy ego and you haven't, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like you talking your shit because you can't. I try to told you I can talk this shit. I don't just want to. It's just what I do because this is where I'm at. And you got to have that belief in that understanding in yourself and confidence in yourself to be able to do. I mean, in your true self, not in how you behave to reach a certain point. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Applying for that job, you ain't the same nigga on the interview. Especially not when you get, oh, I could do this, that, and the third. It's like, yeah, cool. Let that shit fade out. You start getting comfortable. That ego come up. You feel me? That ego come up. And sometimes you got to realize whether or not your ego is even meant to be in the spaces that you're in. Sometimes a lot of our growth and a lot of our inability to develop further is based off of the fact that our ego doesn't fit where we're going. And we're so busy taught to starve our ego and deplete our ego that we're not even looking for the full gamut of the, y'all, my motherfucking ego ain't supposed to be here. So why the fuck are you there? Because your behavior fits. Your behavior fits. You feel me? And that's what it ties into. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there, yo. Make sure to kiss your babies. Make sure to eat their vegetables. And our sons are very, very powerful at young ages. And they have very strong, very healthy egos. They are very, very confident, certain in themselves. Stop killing our babies' egos. Teach them how to have a healthy one, like in knowing who the fuck they are, why they feel that way. Because it's all a coin flip. They can either be good or they can be bad. It's that simple. But the ego is going to be what it is. If that motherfucker's a creative, let them be a creative, so they don't become a destroyer. You feel what I'm saying? When the ego is healthy, it's going to flip a switch. It's going to do either one of those things. But the ego has to be healthily developed. It has to be the person who's able to understand themselves. We can't just limit it, and we got to start limiting it, one, to physical shit that we can actually quantify, and two, extending it to the shit we can't quantify. Because right now it's a motherfucking genius in the hood. Right now it's a genius kid some fucking where who's scared to be a fucking genius because it's gonna make motherfuckers feel uncomfortable. You feel me? Low key, I'm speaking as myself on that regard, because as myself when I was a kid, like I made so many motherfuckers uncomfortable because I was smart. And niggas was mad at it. But because of also like I was tying it back in, you only gonna, if it's not in you, it won't come out of you. I was able to come back and stand for myself because of the environment in which I was brought up. We roasted, we joked and shit. My homies, they knew I was smart, right? So they had the moments where it's like, but because of where we came from, it was, I was able to smash back with them like, bruh, you just mad because you stupid, nigga. The fuck? Like, the fuck? Like, you feel me? Like, I'm gonna end with this. I had a homeboy who was in the 7th grade, right? He was a baller. He can ball. And every time we ball, he used to cook me. He used to call me sorry. He was like, man, you sorry, bro. But we had the same class together. Now, this shows the difference in the parallels. You feel me? Let your ego stay strong all the time. So we was in class and he was struggling with a word. And I just pronounced the word for him. And he was like, hey, yo, don't be disrespecting me. I was like, okay, I get it. In your world, you feel me? Because it's tangible. Like I really wasn't that good at basketball. I wasn't as good as basketball as him. You feel me? That wasn't a fucking mystery and shit. But in my world, he wasn't as good as I was, which was, reading, identifying words and shit. That's what we was talking about. So it was like, dude, this is like, it's okay. We got to stop. The point that I was making is that we got to stop making it a problem for our boys to express the mental aspect in that regard. Have a healthy ego with the mental aspect. Because everybody's like, oh, you didn't have to correct him. He was struggling. He was this. And that's the problem. That's the problem. We pacify for the mentality and we glorify for the physicality, and the physicality be completely fucked up. You feel me? So we need to teach our boys to embrace the healthy egos in all aspects, the tangible and the intangible things, the concrete and the abstract things, the things that, it's a motherfucker right now who can be the next LeBron James with his mind. You feel me? There's a motherfucker right now who could be the next Jordan with his mind. You feel what I'm saying? It ain't always got to be a ball. It can be, you know what I'm saying? Like, we fuck up that reality. But this is why I limit it to the point about thinkers, warriors, and messengers. As men, we're going to be some of that in any way, shape, or form. But which way is our ego going to be fed? Because do we become a comedian who just shucks and jives, or do we become a comedian who can tell a message and paint the picture and plant the seed the right way? Do we become the conscious rapper, or do we become the pill popping animal who can make motherfuckers create a whole? You feel what I'm saying? We got to stop making the fucking healthy ego in regards to the intangible shit such a taboo thing, because that will really affect and impact our boys and make them so much stronger when they get older. Imagine a motherfucker who can use their mind to the same capacity that the D1 athlete used their brain. However, they didn't get confined into thinking that I have to lose my essence. I now have to talk like a nerd and talk about the rhythms and all of this shit. Like, no, like, you feel me? It's like, I know about velocities. I know about all kind of other shit, but it's like, I don't want that to be like, that's a behavior. You feel me? I don't want to have to behave like that. I don't want to have to say, okay, now I could take this shirt off and now I could be like this. Too many of us are caught in that, and we call it a code switch or whatever the case may be, but it's a detriment to our ego because we don't get to be. Let's not make our boys like that anymore. But go ahead and kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. I'm gonna see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.